I think this was a very impressive win in terms of, how it colors the way I view where this team is going. I think there was some concern early in the season with their slow start, working out their half court offense. And I know that isn't, elite at the moment or whatever, but it's like, Scotty's done enough now over these this first couple of weeks of the season that I think we can comfortably kind of raise the bar for what we expect from him. I think, we're going to talk about OG. Like OG's been super impressive, and showing some of the improvements that I think here and there on the offensive end that we expect from him. And then clearly with Pascal having his breakout game yesterday, I think we're watching a team that's getting familiar with each other, that's growing under the new coach. And I'm actually super excited. This is one of the most exciting wins that I've had for about the Raptors, like in a long time.
Damn, you must have had a great time watching this game.
I told you not to say anything.
No, I mean, I think, yeah, to your point, right? Like, you see the vision in a game like this where Pascal plays really well, OG plays really well, and Scotty plays really well. And I know that I think our bar for Scotty now is after seeing that Spurs game, it's like, okay, where was the 30 points from that game? But he did everything else well.
What's the portfolio update from last night?
Another six stocks?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stocks are
Watch
up.
out, Marcus Camby.
Yeah. Honestly, at this rate, he is really getting up there. There was a stretch there in the second quarter where, for some reason, both the Raptors and the Mavericks decided to play like as fast as possible for like 5 straight minutes, and it was just like a nonstop kind of suicides like drill back and down the court. But in that stretch, Scotty blocked Kyrie going to the basket as a help defender, rotated off, and then caught it. It was really, really impressive because he had to jump like pretty much to block it above the square to get the swat, and then he had 3 steals in a 2-minute span.
Yeah, including that kind of like steal block on Tim Hardaway Jr. in the corner where
Then he saved it.
At first I thought it was a block, and then you watch it back and Tim Hardaway actually did the, oh no, here comes Scotty, I got to pass, and pass it like kind of right into his hand.
Yeah. And, I think his energy was just kind of through the roof last night, like some huge offensive rebounds too. So, like, when you see the vision of these 3 guys playing well together, you're like, okay, wow, like, more of a good thing is actually a good thing.
Yeah, and this is, look, we've tried to talk about it as much as we can when there are days that Pascal Siakam can't find his spot in the offense and Scotty Barnes is cooking. I understand that people look at those things and they look at the timelines and they look at the fact that Scotty Barnes is going to be here forever and Pascal Siakam is in the last year of his contract, and there is some friction there. There's friction there narratively, there's friction there roster build-wise, and there's some friction there in terms of figuring it out offensively. But I think what we've seen the last 2 games is what we thought, which is on paper, yeah, the spacing is not going to be great, especially if you have those 2 and Jakob Poeltl out there, but there are ways around it. And most teams in basketball would love to have a pair of 6'9" guys who can attack a mismatch and create for teammates. They would love to have 2 of them on the floor because, like we saw yesterday, well, you can only put 2 bodies on one of them, and you can only put your best defender on one of them. And if your next best defender happens to be giving up 4 inches to Pascal, he's going to eat. So, Grant Williams is a very good defender. Had nothing for Pascal inside yesterday. And I know Scotty didn't have the best of games, and Pascal didn't have the best of games against San Antonio. But you look back at that Spurs game, Pascal's 1 of 6 in the low paint area where we normally expect him to go 4 or 5 for 6. That has nothing to do with Scotty. That's Pascal still getting to his spots. Yesterday, Scotty, yes, only had 14 points, but he still managed to get 15 shots. His threes just didn't happen to drop in this one. That very easily could have been a 17 or 20-point game. And Will, the thing I was most interested to hear your take on today is, so this is Scotty's lowest points output of the season. I thought that he looked as much like a star yesterday as he has in any game other than maybe the stretch run of the San Antonio game. All over the boards with 14, 7 assists, the 6 stocks you mentioned, really making a huge, and like once he realized his jumper wasn't there, he had like laser focus to find Pascal and OG, whether in transition or the half court.
Yeah.
I came away, I know some people look at the 14 points and Pascal taking 25 shots and draw a line between those. I thought Scotty looked really good yesterday, even without the scoring load.
Yeah, I mean, to the bigger picture of this conversation, it's like I'm really tired of player fandom. It's a team. They won the game yesterday. They played really well as a team. And in terms of who contributes specifically towards that team win, in what specific way, in what specific context, that doesn't matter to me. It's about the team. They played together the whole time. And obviously there are some games where, guys are slow and they need to get the, pace picked up for them, and other guys got to sort of bring them up. And I thought Scotty did that for the whole team against San Antonio. And this one, obviously, Pascal had it going against Dallas, really identified the mismatches and really went to work. That's that's just how this game is gonna go. Like, these guys aren't gonna be like, we don't need them to have 30 points together each night to validate their fit. I also think that, like, it's exhausting watching, like, the whole season, especially in game 8. Especially, like, we don't have the trade deadline until mid-February, and who knows what the team's gonna be at that point. To watch every game like there's a trade deadline tomorrow. Like, we're not GMs. Let's just enjoy the fact that they're playing great basketball.
I was trying to trade Pascal on Monday.
No, that's what I mean. Like, every game, it's like, oh man, do they fit together? Do they fit together? Like, we can't even just like, and whatever. Maybe that's our fault because we got to do a 2-hour show. We got to like literally like hit on every single niche item.
But I mean, our point has been they do fit together, and if they don't fit together, that's something you can work on because there's not like with any of these things, you got to be able to give me an explanation why something does or doesn't work. And I still haven't heard a good explanation for why it can't work other than, the spacing, which is a concern no matter who's on the court for this team.
Yeah. And look, like, there are actual basketball reasons to like, talk about, and we will get into those reasons all the time because that's what we do on this show. We hyperfixate. But, like, as a fan, just, like, step back and enjoy watching the game. Like, damn, it was a really great game last night. And, like, it just instantly devolves into, well, now it was Pascal's turn, but it should be Scotty's turn. And now it's, the other way around. It's like, it's so exhausting, man. No, like, the fact that they're on the same team, exactly, it creates all those opportunities where you can get guys constant mismatches going. And I appreciate the unselfishness of Scotty's game to be like, okay, tonight is a game where Pascal really has it going. I don't need to score as much. Let me try to find him as much as possible. I appreciate Pascal also setting up Scotty for a bucket. I appreciate Pascal and Jakob having a really, really tight interior passing game because there is no space whatsoever.
All thanks to you suggesting it.
They got to play tiki-taka soccer in there. Like, it's really like this team's got to be managed by
There
Pep.
were 2 ridiculous post sequences for the Raptors yesterday. And the one, I think you tweeted a clip of it, right? Where the spacing's really bad and Pascal kind of does like a just hand it to Jakob in the paint. And then there was the other one where I forget the exact order, but I think Pascal posts up, Scotty cuts in to get like the double comes, Scotty cuts in, he hits him with the pass, and then Scotty is in post up position. He gets an extra body. So Pascal like goes behind him and cuts. And it was just like rotating like a carousel of post-ups where they just kept finding each other until eventually they had inched to the basket.
Yeah. And I loved it because I think in this game, like, I saw the Raptors working together so much the whole game. And that's beautiful to me. That's what Darko was brought in to do. He keeps saying this all the time. It's like it's ad nauseum at this point, but it's like, we're going to stick together. We're going to play together. They literally put together on the board. They might as well have the whole team tattoo the word together or something just to remind them.
Malachi might do it if this keeps going.
Yo, like, and that's what I see from each other, right? Like, Malachi's been struggling. Now he starts to play well with some confidence. They're all hugging him. They're all, like, cheering him on and embracing him, singing his praises in the postgame. Like, OG, the way he, like, played within the team offense. Scotty directing the team offense. Dennis coming in with some clutch scoring in the fourth quarter just to give them some levity. Okay, fine. In this game, the spacing was too bad, so they take Jakob off the floor, who was also getting hunted by Lucas. So now they go to Otto, and now they celebrate Otto as well. Like, this is all the things we missed last year.
No, for sure.
And now we can't appreciate this because every day we got to be like GMs. Like, every day we got to be
so
GMs.
Mad today,
it's also like. When we talked in the preseason, we talked after that season opening win about how important it was to get wins early, to keep that buy-in going and to keep those good vibes rolling. When they had dropped a couple in a row, you started to see not the energy go away. They were still trying, obviously, and doing those things, but it is a lot easier to maintain that when you're winning enough games. And that was really, that's kind of the story of the championship Raptors with Kawhi versus everything we heard coming out of Clippers leaks the year after was, the Raptors were winning enough games to keep that all quiet. Nobody was really like, it was the same stuff, the same concessions. And it's the same as like, well, what was really all that different personnel and coach wise from 2020, or 2021, 2022 to last year? It was like, well, most of the stuff was the same. And then they lost a couple extra games. So there weren't those team victories. There weren't, like you were saying, Will, okay, like, let's put aside who has what role. We won. We pulled it out together, and next time maybe it's your turn, but as long as we keep winning, there's going to be enough for everyone. So it's pretty big to get wins like this in the San Antonio one early.
Yeah, and I think some of these little things we point out, like, like Garrett Temple giving Malachi that hug, like guys cheering each other on, like, I'm not forgetting, too, like Masai coming to the podium on media day and talking, like, about how they got to get rid of the selfishness this year, turning the page and stuff. And, like, early on, all I'm paying attention to, like, aside from, like, the wins and lessons is, like what, like, how is this team actually growing and coming together? Like, this was the huge thing that was missing for me last season was that this team was not growing. Like this team was not developing into anything by midseason, by the end of the season, and already 8 games in, I'm feeling very optimistic about like where this is all going. So
Yeah. No, for sure. And in terms of the basketball aspect, as I get off my soapbox here.
yeah, I didn't know we had a
No,
soapbox
I mean,
segment
it's just
today.
so annoying, man. Like you watch like even things like I know like whatever. Maybe I live too
You know
much
what?
in
Get
comment
it
section.
off your chest, man.
But, like you open the Raptors YouTube page, right? And it's the
Yeah.
post game press conference. And I thought all the guys who went up there, Chris, Pascal, and Coach Darko, they all gave really, really great quotes. They were really open with things, and they're all very thought provoking. Darko, for example, said like I saw an article about Tom Brady and how when he was a third string quarterback, he complained to his coach at the time. And he's like, why can't I get any reps? And he's like, those 2 reps you get, why don't you make the most of those? And he actually sent that article to Malachi. It's like, stop
Damn.
worrying about the time that you get on the court. Stop worrying about your mistakes. Worry about making the most of your time in life.
Yeah, that's
And, like,
that's coaching right there,
That's
man.
deep. That's deep to me,
Yeah,
right?
that's life coaching.
Looking at Pascal coming to the podium, and you could tell he was coming from this vulnerable place. Where it's like, look,
Mhm.
I know I haven't been playing well, but I know my confidence as a player. And you could tell he was a little bit shaken. But at the same time, he was also really happy to relieved to be on there. Chris was talking about, well, I've been benched up and down, and I'm open with the fact that I've been frustrated with it sometimes, but I'm trying to get better at it. He credited Thad with helping him. Those are all, honestly, as far as post-game press conferences go, that was awesome. The comments in there, oh, how come Pascal only comes to the podium now when he wins? Where is he when he doesn't win? He's a coward. Like, what are we
But
doing?
what else do you
Also,
expect?
how
of the
do you
conference?
think
Just enjoy this.
How do you think the media pros? Do you think the players just come after the game and they're like, "I'm doing the podium today. I'm the media guy."
Actually, I don't think a player has ever volunteered to do the media
nobody would
post-game.
show up. Actually, that's not true. I think the time
You
that
guys-
Fred got kicked out by Ben Taylor, that is the only time someone's volunteered.
Okay, all right.
We had some
Yeah.
Ben Taylor action last night too,
We did.
which was a mess. Okay, so you mentioned the Pascal thing and
Yeah.
Darko's story to Malachi. I actually think this is a huge component of how Pascal can be a leader for guys like that, because Pascal said it after the game. There's a great quote that I think it was a podium quote, but it's in Michael Grange's story from last night up at sportsnet.ca, where he's talking about Pascal has failed in a lot of different ways on his way to becoming an all NBA guy. And hey, I'm starting when I shouldn't be to start the year, and I'm overmatched and it's bad. Then I got to go down to the G League, and then I got to come up and I got to be a bench guy, and I got to take a, tertiary seat to Kyle and Kawhi and stuff like that. And then, failure in the bubble. The start of this year. And Pascal says, part of the quote is, I always trust who I am as a player. My instincts are good, and I always play the game the right way. And then he goes on to talk a little bit more, uses the term resilient. And whether he's like grabbing someone like Malachi and being like, well, listen, kid, like I'm an old head now, and this is what I went through, or it's just having that guy around and those examples around and seeing, what work he still puts in when these new challenges crop up. I think that's a really good point Darko makes to Malachi, and it's a point that needs to be made more and more the deeper your team is. Now, we haven't seen the Raptors bench play
Sure.
tremendously well.
Yeah.
Last night was by far the best they've looked as a group. But there are going to be guys like McDaniels is out of the rotation right now. It could be Boucher the next game. It could be, Otto is more, health based, but like Precious will come back at some point, and then someone else minutes are gone. And being able to communicate that and have guys ready for those moments is really big. And it's the same kind of logic of, again, Scotty took 15 shots last night. He wasn't frozen out of the offense. He had the ball a ton.
Yeah.
But if there was a night where it wasn't working for him or his touches were a little less, it's the same kind of mentality of, like you said, making the most of what you are dealt game to game, minute to minute.